Hi, Epstein with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up for this Tuesday, the 25th of June, 2024. Interesting day. To me, the big event happened in Rivian after the market. Volkswagen comes to the table, wants to do a joint venture, wants to invest up to $5 billion into Rivian in a venture and buy a certain percentage of Rivian, not taking the company over. Buying a certain percentage. They'll start with $1 billion. And then I guess they'll set up certain parts to it and see how the other monies come in. But what this really did is it kicked the market up in the aftermarket about 30%. Number two, it makes it a real company. Remember, they haven't turned a profit yet. We know that what they were doing is they were not going to have a good second quarter. They've told you as much. And that was because they had shut down the plant for retooling to get costs way down. But Volkswagen sees enough in their technology and know-how to say, you know something, let's join them, do things with them that we can use together. Technology makes so much sense. And then maybe they'll develop something together besides that. A big win. I've loved this stock, as I told you. I've seen these cars. They're wonderful cars, and they're priced. They're going to be priced very right. They're going to make some good deals. So now the question is how to come back to it. The other event was we saw that FedEx after the market was a big beat. They might be even selling one of their more unprofitable divisions, it sounds like, some long-haul transport. We saw that the Carnival did a big beat this morning, too, for their cruise line. The market was thought that they'd have a bit of a loss. They didn't. They turned that all around. So it was an interesting day in different areas of the market. Now, you've had a mixed picture. SPY up a little, the Dow down today, NASDAQ up. So what happened? Just take a look at that. You've been doing the opposite. For 3 days, you've had a correction where it was the AIs that all fell, and that picked up the Dow and the Russell. And today, you took those down and you kicked back up NVIDIA. And NVIDIA was up today. Let's see if I've got it here on the board for us anywhere. Yeah, there it is, up 798. That's a pretty good rally in the market. It's made back half of the 13% that it had lost. Boeing, all the news keeps coming out bad. It's down $4. I want this stock to drop into the 160s, 150s, and I think you can buy it and forget it. I'm sorry I missed doing that in Rivian. I'm just kicking myself because I don't think we'll see these prices again for a very long time once that deal, if it goes through, and I see no reason it was announced today to do that. You're still getting bids in Microsoft, Amazon up a little bit today. So let's take a look and see what we've got here and where we're at. First of all, you can't seem to get out of this sideways action in RSP, and that's the equal weight S&P. Just when you think it might move up, it doesn't. It keeps doing this action you can see right through here. The pattern is one of a higher high. The gains you made yesterday, just to show you this, here you are yesterday, nice day, you gained 0.8, not a big gain, up 13 cents, and today you lose back $1.14 and you're down 0.69, so you gave back way more, and now you're, again, just caught in this sideways action. The market's also back underneath the 18-day average. For the better part of a week, it tried to stay over it. So now the next support, if it goes down, is the 100-day average, and it's caught in this narrowness of the Bollinger Bands. It's just not going anywhere. When we take a look at slow stochastics, they were driving the market up. Now the momentum is turned back down, but you have to look for the first level of support, I think, at 163.81 to 63.68. These two numbers coming together, but I don't see a way to go into that and try to accomplish anything. Did the vertical price run in Schwab, the dividend part here, the dividend equity ETF, run its course? It might have. And that's because you hit the Bollinger Band, and number two, we start the earnings season again, and now you're not going to get the stock buybacks because you're going to a quiet period here. The companies don't trade their stock for a bit here, so the game changes a little bit. On pullbacks, the first support's the 18-day average and, the 100-day average and the 18, and you are in overbought territory and not trending. This was a vertical move right to the upside. Nike, hearing good things. I was reading an article tonight. So Nike has gone to China, where people are not spending an awful lot. They're bringing Air Jordans that are not sold in the States. They're made just for the Chinese market at $1,000 a pair. They're going to have the high tops, the low tops, other memorabilia type of things, scarves and so on. We will see. But Nike is trying, as I told you, to come out of the doldrums, and this is the beginning of their program. We'll see if it works or not. You're back into a support area. It will be bad for the market if it takes out the 93.52 area. As long as it doesn't do that, what you've done is you rallied up to what we talked about, the 100-day average, where I think the pros are using that as the resistance point. You went for good measure yesterday to the Bollinger Band and let it all go today. Rivian. I mean, you can just see the sideways action. Forget this. This market's all the way up. It's up, like I said, about 30%. So the market's in a breakout mode, and I doubt that we're going back to these levels anytime soon. So I'm going to view that number at 1015 as something that you're not going to probably see again if you see it again, for a very long time. This kind of money coming at them with all that they've done, with everything. Living in Chicago, they build these cars in Normal, Illinois, so we're always hearing about what they're doing there. It looks like they can turn their actual first profit in the fourth quarter, not the third, the fourth quarter. That would be the first time that they're a profitable company. That'd be a pretty amazing thing. And remember, they build the Amazon trucks, and they have that know-how. If you see them in Chicago, they're quite impressive. When you see the FCX, so we had a run-up in Freeport just to the 18-day average. There's quite a story going on in copper, where you've got a whole bear market, a full-fledged bear market going on in London Metal Exchange, and you don't in the COMEX exchange in Chicago have enough copper for deliveries. And you cannot take the copper out of the London Metal Exchange and recertify it for the COMEX. It's got to come in what they call a cleaner source. So interesting times as to how they're moving it around. But this market is saying, okay, maybe the 46.5 level's too cheap. I doubt that you're going much over this 49.80 zone right now. The futures markets aren't acting good. And at the end of the day, it's all still about what's going to happen there. Now, obviously, the market might have gotten too cheap and better earnings, and we'll find out what's going on. The U.S. home builders, Linn, not doing well. Back down to the lower Bollinger Band in an oversold market. If it really let go, can come down here. We're going to get some housing numbers tomorrow on how they're going, and we're looking for an increase in overall resale of homes. So we'll see what happens. I didn't say new homes. I said we'll find out what's going on there. The home builders are getting beaten up. This is the season. This is when they need the backlogs, and the question is, are they getting any? Now, we get the mortgage market numbers tomorrow morning, and on Thursday they reset mortgage rates. So we will see what Fannie Mae does with all that and where you're at. But you're down to the Bollinger Band. Trend is still pointing lower, but you're at the first support in the market. When we look at XLF, the financial services, what you don't want to see is this market getting underneath 4109. It's an overbought market that yesterday hit the upper Bollinger Band, backed away immediately, went back to the roost, if you will, the 18-day average. Now it's got to decide what can it do from here. I'm not convinced it wants to do anything. And why? You got the PCE numbers coming out on Friday. That's going to give us an idea, is this thing running still too hot? It takes September away from a rate cut, or is it really cooling down in September suddenly becomes a market that might be in play? I mean, everybody's going to be looking at it. There's arguments galore going on as the Fed. At what point does the Fed abandon data and start going into trying to get ahead of the curve because they believe the data will catch up with the move to cut rates? That is the argument that those that want the rate cut to come are making. And then you get the Fed members and others that are saying, listen, the economy's still too strong. If you cut rates, you're just going to fuel on inflation. It's not about getting ahead of the curve. There is no curve to get ahead of because it didn't turn down. That is the argument you're getting. I don't know if you're watching what the different Fed members are saying, but I've been writing about it all week, and I'm giving you the arguments. In XLI, you've gone from upper band to lower band, just instant. You're caught in the middle of nothing. But if you're watching, the Richmond Fed numbers came out today, their manufacturing numbers. Terrible. I mean, just absolutely terrible. And that's why all of a sudden you went from a market here, take a look. Market that maybe it can break out to the upside, right? Well, number one, it's overbought. It's the first challenge of a Bollinger Band. Look how it falls apart today on the Richmond Fed numbers. And because some of the Fed members came out and were talking hawkish again. Then we get to the energy sector, which is acting bullish. It is overbought, but the market has come back from this huge break. This is over. And this is your reaction to it coming up a little bit. I don't know if it's ready to run or not, but I will tell you, if hurricanes were to come in into Florida or the Gulf of Mexico, the whole game would change on you very, very fast. You got to keep your eye on that. It's an unusual early part to summer. You know that. We just basically began. We just are kicking off into the driving season, and the Midwest weather has been heat and a lot of rain. Interesting times that we're all getting. In the gold market, I had been friendly, and today I said no more. Now, could you get yourself into much trouble here? You could not. You haven't made money if you're a bear. You haven't made money if you're a bull. I had been until you broke down today and you took out this 214.26 level. Enough. Now the market's back to lower highs, lower lows. There isn't enough to play for at this point, but if I were in it, I'd say as long as you don't clear Monday's highs, you could be going back to the Bollinger Band. In the silver market, you failed on a rally to the 18-day average of closes. Now you got a higher high, lower low pattern, and you're instantly oversold. The copper market did all that I wanted it to see. I explained when you lost the reading here, I thought you'd go to the 18-day average, and that's all that I told traders to look for. It did its job. Bonds and notes, which way do you think the PCE is going to go, because that's what you're betting on. And in the dollar, it's a sort of a bet on that. If the market takes out Monday's lows, you lose the steam, but are you embedding? So follow me. Both numbers were over 80 today, right? Both numbers yesterday were over 80. And both numbers the day before, Friday, were over 80. So you have what's called an embedded reading. Until the red line closes under 79, traders, I think, will buy the break, bail if that happens, looking to see if the market can work on higher. So I think there's an overall still bullish thing, but you got to make sure if you're buying the break that you keep the embedded reading. Anything under 80, you walk away from. On FXE, it's not throwing out the locked-in reading. It's an oversold market in a downtrend that just had a bearish crossover. So this gives me a bit more confidence in the dollar. The 18-day average just got under the 100. That's bearish action. So I'm looking for the market, if it's going to slip, to do so by maybe ultimately getting down here. We'll see what happens, but that's a lot of resistance now at 99.57 to 99.69 on the chart. You put it together, try to come up with game plans and see what you can do. I think I told you that you got the Bankers Association in the morning, you got home sales coming out, and that's going to be new home sales. So I think I said that wrong. This is going to be not existing, but new home sales, and that's very, very important to the marketplace. Give us an idea what's going on with these builders and so on. And for those of you that like the indicators that I have here and you use TradingView, I don't know if you're aware of it, but we make a suite of indicators available for them. So it's 6 of my indicators. The swing lines, that's the lines that you see me use all the time. Moving averages that I use, there'll be 4 of them that we put in there for you. The Bollinger Bands, very important. Window envelopes will be there, but you have to adjust the numbers the way that we show you. And then the slow stochastics with the formula that I use. I even threw in outside days because, and I'll highlight them, they're so important. So if you pair this together with my morning video, all of a sudden it comes together, and especially with my trading courses. So how do you get this? It's simple. You go to our website, iraepstein.com. You sign up in the customer resource area. It's on the top right of the website. Or you can move your cursor up here and you'll see an icon, give it a click, and away you go. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great evening. I'll catch up with everybody in the morning. Take care.